Sometimes that is better.
Hello there, and welcome to Give Me Back My Horror Movies, the podcast, and Outlanders. Are you ready?
Are we the Outlanders?
You're the Outlanders.
Yes, we're ready. I am ready.
Outlander Charlie and Outlander Pete.
I am ready. Ready
Holy
to go.
shit! Who let Pete back in?
We let
I
Pete
am.
back.
It is my triumphant return. I needed to take a few days.
He
or
doesn't follow
weeks
the one
off.
that walks behind the corn.
I am the one that walks behind the corn.
Oh, actually, that kind of checks out after February.
Yeah, it does. And I've been working on my list for next year already.
We know. Well, we effing know.
And I have already said we already know what walks behind the rows, and it's Drive, and it's a Corvette and a Camaro that's in a car chase. That's what's behind the corn rows.
Exactly.
Yes. So,
See, we have proof.
if you are tuning into this episode, please make sure that you check out A Cut Above, who just released part 1 of Children of the Corn. After you listen to our episode, the following day, actually, Spoils of Horror is going to drop Children of the Corn part 3. So
Right.
there you go. 3 different podcasts covering 3 movies in the same franchise.
In
And
the
I
same
personally
week?
can't wait. Yeah, in the same week.
Yeah.
I can't wait for 4, 5, and 6.
We are
God.
literally a trilogy of terror.
And
I
it's
like it.
great because there's like 10 of these movies and 2 of them are remakes.
Here's what's going to
yeah.
happen, because someone's going to say, why don't you guys do the same thing for Hellraiser or Phantasm? Which
A lot of it too,
I could
though,
do Phantasm one. I could
so-
do all those.
each podcast has already covered like something from those. Like,
Right.
so Steven from Spoils of Horror was the original creator of this idea. And
Okay.
he reached out to us going like, hey, like I got this idea. And my first reaction was Child's Play because we were about to do part 2. I was like, it might just kind of work out. But when you're dealing with multiple people's schedules, it's a matter of
Sure.
what can you work together and what has no one covered yet. You
Right.
know, because like we've done Hellraiser 2. It's
And
just a
they-
matter of, and they just did Child's Play remake. That was the other thing. Like,
They did
Um,
Phantasm 3 already. as
yeah.
well.
Oh, okay.
so it's just one of those like, well, what other movies, especially when you get into these like horror movies that have way too many sequels
Right.
and just get worse and worse as they go
And
along.
I was not doing Amityville again. I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
We will let a year in horror, Peter over there, handle that. The man has
Okay.
got it locked down. I think he's got 68 films he's got to watch.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Seriously?
but
Oh
he's
my-
like, it's amazing. He's getting collaborators with it for his Patreon. He is getting people that even made like some of those like recent ones that have came out, whether it
Oh,
be like
that's
an actor,
amazing.
director, or writer, just to talk about where they're like, yeah, we know it's a piece of shit, but we get to do it. Like,
Literally get your name carved in the Amityville legacy, man.
I'm
I mean,
hoping that
come
he
on.
can get that completed this year, though. Like, I feel like
It's a lot of movies.
that is,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I
a
just
lot.
feel like 8 more movies just came out right now as we were talking.
That's
So
what's
the
going to
problem.
happen is I'm almost done, and then a new trilogy comes out or
Yeah.
some shit. You know, you never know.
The Amityville Cocaine Bear. That's coming up,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Amityville
That's it.
cocaine. It's the
Uh-huh.
house is now doing
The
rails.
house is high, yes.
It's a house on rails. I love it. I love it.
I'm sorry I missed the Cocaine Bear stream, everyone. It's up there
No.
on YouTube now, though, so you can watch that. I was off partying in Vegas and just said, screw these two.
Yeah, you did.
Lit-
You left us high and
literally.
dry.
Literally.
Yeah,
It's mostly
I did.
just me and Pete staring at each other going, I don't know. This was
You
Nate's
two just looking at each
idea."
other. I haven't even watched it yet, honestly. I need to. But you were probably just looking at each other going, so you liked it, right? Yeah.
I liked
Okay.
it too.
I
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
it too.
Did you like it? Yeah, I liked it. Did you like that
Oh,
part?
yeah.
Yeah, that part was good
That
too. Yeah.
All right.
Whose idea was this? Nate's?
Oh.
Here.
Wonder what he's doing.
We even
But-
Troy even bounced on us.
Yeah, we got bailed on by
Yeah.
everyone. I was scared it was just going to be me, and I was going to have to reenact the whole thing with Garth from Wayne's World when they leave him on the screen by himself. Everyone's going to be in the live stream going, "Do you remember that part in Scanners when that dude's head exploded?" That's exactly what was about to happen.
There was a bear and there was cocaine.
And Ray Liotta, he was there.
It's a good.
Anyway,
prequel.
this isn't the
right,
Cocaine Bear show. Nate missed it. You don't get to redo it. So another fun thing we've realized is we have some type of weird ability to pick movies way in advance that are relevant all of a sudden when we're ready to drop them. So as we had this planned, I saw a post, and I think it was through Fangoria or one of those other sites on Instagram, that there's a new Children of the Corn coming out now. Like
Yeah.
like now.
I'm
like,
pretty sure
in
by
a
the
week or
time
so,
everyone's
yeah.
listening to this, it will be out. And we didn't plan that at
I had
all.
no idea. It gets even better because that movie was supposed to come out pre-pandemic. It's
Yeah.
been sitting on the shelf for 2 years.
Oh man.
If you IMDb it, it says 2020 on it. And I'm like, wait, that thing's not even out yet.
It's supposed to be hot garbage.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's supposed to be bad.
Well, when you're
Although
the
I don't think
second
there's
remake
many.
in a, whatever how many movies there are at this point.
don't know.
It's not like there's going to be much expectations there in the first place. But I really do want to find a way to get us a cut above and Spoils of Horror to review that one. It just feels right.
Feels like that should be the culmination of all of us
I
coming
feel like we could do
together.
that on the YouTube channel maybe or something.
Hey, I
don't
like
know.
that
see.
idea. That'd be really
It's
cool.
an idea.
Yeah.
But then that's also you've got 5 more people that you got to work around the schedule, including 3 of
Yeah.
us.
Set the date.
Literally
and
8
go.
people in the stream.
The worst case scenario would be there would be 8 people in the stream.
Yeah, it's okay. It'll be all right. But yeah, so I love our mutant ability. And it's not like, oh, that's just one time, Charlie. No, apparently I've picked one of the action movies for this month. It's a movie Nate's never seen. And Nate goes, I want to do like an old school action movie, something I've not really seen, or maybe I've only seen one time. And I gave him a list. And one of the movies he picked off that list was Stone Cold. Because he's like, I'm pissed off that Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't in that movie, so I never watched it.
Yeah.
So I was
Every
like,
time it came on like the TV guide or like on the channel thing, it would say Stone Cold. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I'd start to watch and be like, wait a minute, that's not Steve Austin. And it would
No.
just turn the channel. Apparently it's a good action movie, and I've never known. I'll
So-
find out later this week.
so Nate, we pick it. Well, now it's this month as we've been recording. Not only is it Brian Bosworth's birthday in March, and he had a big to do about it, they are releasing the 4K version of Stone Cold in like a month. And
Which
I
is-
just got the Blu-ray.
It's
Oh,
great
no.
because
days
you
ago.
got this curse where you buy the Blu-ray and then the 4K gets announced.
Every
I have this curse
time.
where every time I go to see a movie later at not opening weekend, I'm like, oh, I'll go see Megan. 3 days later, it comes to on streaming. I'm like,
just
God
streaming.
damn it!
And unrated. No,
The
it happened
menu.
on
I went
And
and saw
unrated.
that.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Then like a couple days later, it showed up on HBO. I'm like, come on!
I literally got Hard Target, and then the Kino Blu-ray came out, so I had to order it. Sudden Death, I just ordered the Blu-ray, and Kino announced its release. And Roadhouse, I bought the Blu-ray, and then we all got the giant 4K
You know,
collector's box.
while we're on this rant, I also absolutely hate that we will pick movies in advance. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's streaming on Shudder. Oh, this one's streaming over here on Tubi. Comes time to watch the movie, and it's
gone. It's
Gone.
gone every time.
every time. And I'm like, God damn it, now I gotta spend $3 to rent it. It's not the end of the world, but it's one of those things where it's just like, like I want to watch Children of the Corn 1 and 3, and I will before the episodes air.
Yeah.
But like right now, I'm trying to hunt down this damn 6-pack that I know exists that has Children of the Corn 2 through 7 that Walmart used to always have for like
Mhm.
$10. I will throw $10 at that just so I can own part 2.
Hey, Nate, guess what? Hey, Nate,
Oh, I
guess what?
know. Trust me. I'm now starting to understand why Big Library
Don't do it. Don't
is
do it. Don't do it.
existing.
Don't
It's-
do it.
If the library was open today, I would have picked it up. It's
Yeah, 'cause
sitting on a
my
shelf
ass
for me.
Oh,
was
my
going
God.
all over over Columbus yesterday going, I bet I can find the DVD. Like, there's no way someone is holding on to their copy of Children of the Corn 2. They probably traded into one of these shops. I bet I can find it. I was wrong.
I relegated myself to I'm just going to rent it.
I
If Tubi didn't
guarantee-
have it, I rented it.
In April is when all the Children of the Corn movies are probably going to come to either Netflix or Tubi or
Probably.
Peacock, Paramount Plus, Showtime, Cinemax, AMC.
Dude,
That's just the ones I can name off the top of my head. And it pisses me off that Cinemax and HBO are part of one, but that Cinemax has its own goddamn app.
Wow.
Paramount and Showtime are one, but you gotta have the
Spicy.
bundle. Yeah, I canceled it. Screw you guys. I'm not spending the $5 on you anymore. Beavis and Butthead's no longer on the air.
well, because of our mutant power, Nate, the reason you can't find it is because a new movie's getting ready to come out. So what do when a new movie comes out?
They hold it.
They re-release all the other
yeah.
movies with a new
Also-
slipcover.
Why physical media should still be trusted in this day and age, because I haven't seen Scream 6 yet. I was all excited to see Scream 6 this week. And so I've been rewatching all the old ones. That way I'm all caught up on, who's the who. Scream
the who?
2 will not stream on Paramount. It freezes. So then I start doing a little detective work. I go to Google. I do the tappity taps. I do the clickety clicks for Scream 2. Why isn't it not working on my app? Maybe it's my Xbox. Nope, it's not my Xbox. Turns out it's a Paramount problem, where I found a Reddit post from a year ago of people going, hey, why can't I watch Scream 2 and Scream 3? Paramount, get your shit together. Your app is terrible.
I have them on DVD, so I'm good.
Oh, I went and bought them on Blu-ray. And I was like, I'm amazed I don't have them, but I was also waiting for all of them to come out on 4K. But you know what? Screw it. Thank you, Paramount.
Well, Paramount thanks you because they get paid for that DVD too.
Yep.
So
Yeah, well, they would have if I
Either
would've
way,
found
they're
a
gonna
used
get you.
copy. But of course, everyone's buying the used copies right now.
yeah, that's called bandwagoning, man. You can't do it right when everyone else is doing it.
I know. It always happens.
Buy
when I
it
get
back
sick
in the
of it.
fall like Charlie does. When Charlie goes, look what I got today, you should just go buy it. When I go, look what I got.
You know what? You're right. I should.
He's got a good point. He has a nose for these things.
That's right.
So, Children of the
Ah.
Corn Part 2.
Yeah, we did a movie.
Yeah, the only movie that I can think of that's a part 2 that instantly lets you know it's the final sacrifice. There's no way in hell we're going to make any other movies.
You got a good point. I was trying to think, wasn't there a Freddy called Freddy's Final something?
Yeah,
or other,
well,
the
that was like
Final
What? The
Nightmare?
Final
one.
Nightmare.
You usually wait till,
Oh,
like, you have to wait till after part 4. Because that's when you're like,
Okay.
all right, there's no way we're going to make like a second trilogy. That term didn't exist back in the day. So it was just like, well, the 5th one's the final one, or the 6th one, whatever.
makes sense. Makes sense.
But then you also, this movie makes no damn sense because this came 8 years after the original.
After the original, yeah.
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 I
and
don't think there was anyone going, you know what we really need?
a sequel to
A
Children of the
sequel
Corn.
to that mediocre Stephen King movie, Children of the Corn.
That's
So-
a great question though. I mean, like how did this get made? Isn't there who does that podcast? How did that get made or something? I
So
would love to
there-
know the
There's a
behind the
podcast
scenes.
or a YouTube channel or something like that. But this is what Charlie knows. And this is
Okay.
like I see people
Lay it on me, brother.
ask this all the time. It's about keeping the rights. A movie
And
studio,
that's kind of what I figured
it's
was
this
happening.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
and it has a certain amount of time that you don't do anything with that license. That license reverts back to the original owner. So they don't care if this movie is good. They just want to keep a hold of the right, especially a Stephen
copyright thing,
King,
yeah.
a Stephen King title. Because
Yeah,
if
we
you
will
notice,
milk that horse.
is all the other movies after the first one, it says
that cow.
based on Stephen King. Stephen King ain't said doesn't want anything to do with any of these other sequels. He's like, no, these things suck. It should have stopped at 1, but because he can't get his name off of that stupid
Right.
I would have loved
license,
for him to do a bunch of cocaine again with a bear and then get the rights back and make his own Children of the Corn movie.
Why didn't
The-
Stephen King write Cocaine Bear?
He might have. It's on a manuscript that we don't know about.
It's true.
we got Maximum Overdrive. That was close enough.
It is no joke.
Cocaine fueled Stephen King nightmare.
I've only seen part 1, and it's been
You and me
maybe a
both.
decade.
Yep,
Like,
you and
I
me both.
just, here's the weird thing. Like, for some reason, what my memory of these movies was like, my family was pretty, like, no, those movies are like truly evil. You can't watch
Wow.
them. Like it kind of falls in that wheelhouse of rare stuff that I wasn't allowed to watch for whatever reason.
Right.
And that's how it was, because I remember I had like a cousin that said they really liked the Children of the Corn movies at like a family gathering, and like the family just losing their shit. So
Oh no.
yeah, like I and like I know like the first one I can kind of see it because of, especially in the 80s, having children being the villain. But like I know there's other movies that are like that. I can't think of there's a
Children
Troma
of
one.
the Damned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Children of
even
the
Children of the Damned. Yeah.
Well,
Like
The Omen.
yeah.
Yeah, The Omen.
But even in
That's
The
a big one.
Omen,
To a
Damien's not doing
degree,
it. It's Damien's,
Followers.
yeah.
what was
So-
that, Race to Witch Mountain? Those kids were pretty creepy.
Those kids were creepy.
Those are That's Disney though.
It's
That's-
Disney, I
that's-
know, but they
were
had
good.
powers
Disney
They
too.
were creepy.
Yeah, they had powers,
Yeah.
but
The Rock
that's the-
was with them at one point.
That's not the same one, Nate. Don't.
God, hey man, there's a
No,
remake. Rock's in
we
it.
don't want. No, we don't want to talk about the Rock remake.
That's what he
No.
does.
No,
But anyway,
no.
Growing
I
up
haven't
in
even
Ohio,
got. I haven't even got to play the trailer yet. You guys are
I
just
know.
going.
I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting here like a good boy, and Nate is
Pete for once is behaving.
throwing shade just at random. Hey, Charlie, let's do a trailer and reset this.
Yeah, let's do a
this
trailer.
show.
Let's blah.
Nate needs a nap or something. Let's
He
do
just
this.
got
I
up from a
just
nap.
got done napping.
Oh, he took a bad nap. That's what
Yeah.
happened. Bad nap. All right,
Uh,
I'm gonna play the trailer. Then we'll get back into it.
thank you.
We have just witnessed a terrible tragedy.
It all began here. In these fields. With the children of the corn.
What happened is over, Mrs. Burke. It's over.
Well, a bunch of kids killed all the adults in town. Just your basic Sunday afternoon in the Bible Belt.
But the adult's nightmare isn't over yet.
People are actually worried about problems with our sweet, innocent children.
There's something out there. There's something. It's evil. It's gotten a hold of our children.
Did you see what happened? The blood was for the corn.
Based on the shocking short story from Master of Horror Stephen King.
Have you ever seen evil? It works through the children.
This is Children of the Corn 2.
Walks behind the rows, commands that we rid the land of all that defileth the corn.
I don't want you hanging around with these kids
They were adults. We have seen the way of that world, and it is evil. There is a power greater than all, and it is within us. She warned you. She warned all of you. The blood of those that defileth the corn must flow into the earth. Did you really think that he who walks behind the rows would allow you to escape? She is the first to be sacrificed.
Children of the Corn 2. The Final Sacrifice.
It's fun to play, right?
Children of the Corn 2, the final sacrifice.
Oh, so the tagline of this film was, "These children are home alone too, but their parents are never coming back." That might be the greatest flippin' tagline of all time.
This might be the greatest sequel of all time.
You- Nate, I am right there with you, Bubba. This,
Spoiler alert, I really
Oh.
love this movie.
oh my God, this movie was amazing.
Like,
Oh
there's some parts where it drags,
yeah.
but by myself, I am dying of laughter. I am enjoying myself. It's gruesome. It's stupid as hell. Oh my God, this movie's amazing.
It is dumb. It is poorly acted. The script doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The cinematography isn't too bad. The special effects are very cheap 1992.
Which
But-
part? The lawnmower man scene?
I was gonna say, yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
Lawnmower Man
Oh yeah,
scene is
for sure.
phenomenal.
It's
That
great.
deserves an
But
award.
As
now.
far as entertainment value, this movie had everything that I could possibly want. It was It was amazing. I think we should let Charlie say something though, because we're hogging the whole
I,
thing.
I was letting you two gush. and
We're
do
Oh my
you.
God,
we are
it's amazing.
fanboying out.
It's
Like
so
I thought
good.
for sure. I was like, well, shoot, this movie's probably gonna be terrible, but
I-
at least we don't
yeah.
got part 3 like those chumps over there at Spoils. So
Right. I was expecting a total snooze fest. Like this is gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
boring. It's gonna be slow. It's gonna not make a
And I
lot
was
of
like,
sense.
well, like even though I don't care for part 1, at least a cut above, like they are already a solid podcast. They get to do a solid horror movie. This works great. And then us as Spoils will just deal with, what falls down the mountain. It's whatever.
But we clearly got the
And we-
better of the three.
We got the best deal. I don't care what
Oh,
anyone
man.
says.
Oh, man.
I don't know about that. Now, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the hell out of this movie. I did, however, watch this movie last night, and yesterday was a very long day. Nate and Pete know I went and I set up at a show to do some vending. So I had got up stupid early to get there to get set up. I got home. I was tired. I fell asleep in the last 10 minutes of this movie. I didn't know how it ended.
No.
And I was like, I could just rewind it, but I waited till today to finish watching it. And it's fine. Like I was enjoying it up to this point, but I literally fell asleep. So I watched the end of this movie. Totally awesome. So I had time. So I was like, you know what? The first one's on Tubi. I would like to remember that one to see how I feel about the second one a little bit better. And I'm going, damn, I don't remember how hard this movie goes. And the first one goes bloody hard.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't want to just dig into it because obviously go listen to a cut above.
It's a legit classic though. You're right.
It really it is, and it's well deserved.
Mhm.
And honestly, I was under the impression that 2 goes the sequels always go harder with more gore, with more stuff. Kind of think it's equal. After watching the first one again today,
Okay.
going, damn, I forgot there was a lot more blood in this. Like, it's not just Outlander the whole time, for
That's
half
all
the
I really
movie.
remember of it is Outlander, that creepy ginger kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a
Which
decade since I've seen it too. so it's
Poorly
been a while.
recast in this movie for
Oh
Mordecai.
gosh.
Oh my God, you picked the worst kid ever to replace original Mordecai. Like,
None of those kids were good actors. They were terrible.
but like,
No.
and this one, yes. At least they're like in the first one, Mordecai
no,
and Isaac. That is a terrifying duo.
They were
Isaac
very
is-
good. Mhm.
Is perfection.
And then the sequel, you get Trent Reznor or Micah, but it's basically Trent Reznor with black contact lenses.
Yeah.
And bootleg Mordecai, like he's the one that you would pick up from the flea market, the Great Value brand or something like that. And
He
he's
reminds-
barely a bit player in this at all.
He's kind of like Buzz from Home Alone. That's kind of the way I looked at him in this movie. But yeah, so you're right. Isaac is the perfect version to be the personification of he who walks behind the rose. This guy, it was like the demon went, this kid showed up. Oh
well,
this
he's
is
still
kinda
around, and like
who I'm
he's
stuck with.
he looks kind of goth. So like, I'm a demon. I roll with the goths. I bet we can make this
Right.
work. Like,
And the demon totally abandons him at the end of the film.
oh, yeah,
Yeah,
the demon's
yeah.
like, oh well, I'm
Is
about to die. So
peace out. Bye.
It's, he got Psycho Gorman.
He did.
So like, this movie had a budget of 900,000. So the first one
Yeah.
was 800,000. So they just threw an extra 100,000.
There's
at it.
extra hundo. You're
And
good
this
to
one
go.
actually went to theaters too, which blows
Yep.
my mind.
The
Yes.
last one. to
Everything
do it.
after that went direct to video, but this feels like you would watch this on Sci-Fi. You know,
Yeah,
for sure.
God, yeah, this is sci-fi-esque. Now,
All over the
good
place.
sci-fi. I'll give it this. When sci-fi was good at making
Yeah.
it was a
movies,
blast.
that not new sci-fi, which is just garbage. No, this one definitely fit better. And I like how this is. It kind of starts off as a straight up continuation from the first one. Like they reference everything that happens
Yep.
in the first one.
That's something that's always fascinated with me with horror sequels or horror movies in general.
Mhm.
Is what do you do with the aftermath? You know, what is
Right.
that story after the trauma has happened? I think that's such a fascinating thing that never gets covered enough. You know,
I've said this on some of the other streams. I don't know if we ever talked about it because we haven't really covered any of the Halloween movies. Was the last Halloween movie, Halloween Ends. They were touching the perfect way to do the movie. and it wasn't with Michael Myers. The movie starts talking about the terror that was Michael Myers, the trauma the town went through. And they even film a lot of stuff where the town's almost tearing itself apart.
Right.
Even though Michael's not there, I want that movie.
Exactly.
I
like,
want what
that's the movie I want to see. Is
yes.
You want that buffer film between the two films, like
basically
what
like, I
happened
just
to the
want
community.
a
totally
drama
would have been fine with
almost.
that.
Even Rob Zombie's sequel, I don't like it, but it starts to touch upon that because the way that first one ends, where it's just like, holy shit, that was horrific. How would Laurie?
I want to see
handle
the
this?
aftermath. Yeah, the
Yeah,
aftermath
I just
of it
want
all.
to see the aftermath. I don't need
Yeah.
the boogeyman.
I don't think I need
just
a whole film of that. I maybe a special.
or even like if
uh,
someone wrote like
a
a
short.
continuation novel, like a novella or
Okay.
something could work as well.
Yeah,
I don't
but,
think you need a whole lot there, but it would be interesting to see that in between spot, that gray area.
but that's
Yeah.
one of the things. Like, I would love to see that. But I did like, and I mean, this movie starts hard. I forgot how hard the first one started because I never remember the diner scene in the first movie.
Oh
So-
yeah.
Oh god,
to
Dynasty is
See,
brutal.
exactly. So this one, it's like, okay, we kind of, because of that first movie, how do we keep that momentum? They show all the dead bodies from all the dead parents.
Oh, it was
from the
great.
first
And it was
movie.
Also,
gory.
and here's the
Wonderful.
thing too, like with this being in the early 90s and those were all in the basement, like I got John
Yeah.
Wayne Gacy vibes from it, where it's like
Oh,
you guys
totally.
Oh, yeah.
clearly went with, well, this serial killer has just been recently caught. He was doing this, so we are going to
Mhm.
show the same thing.
Yeah.
And then having, some of the survivors and, the kids that were no longer following Isaac, it was just like, holy shit, like there's a really cool premise here. It quickly jumps off the rails and turns into a crazy batshit 90s adventure, which I'm fully down for. But there was a moment where someone went, we might actually make a legit creepy horror movie here.
My whole thing was, I was watching the beginning, which is, it's perfect time to talk about this part, was they're rounding up the kids. They're putting them on a bus and they talk about taking them somewhere, like really just trying to get them there. And then all of a sudden the kids are wandering around the freaking town again, not 2 scenes later. And
Yeah,
I'm like, what happened? Where did you take them? Did you think you could drop them off at the next town and they wouldn't find their way back home?
I feel like they got adopted by the town. Like their
they
parents were
reference that
killed,
later.
and they
Yeah.
They do
right.
make that where it's like, well, everyone has to like chip in, but we have
Yes.
perfect Mrs. Burke, who's like, nah, hell no, I don't want nothing to do with those kids.
Oh,
Mrs.
gosh, I love
Burke
her.
is the true hero. She's the voice of reason. She's this little old woman who just wants to be in her house that is on stilts for some reason.
I think this is
It's-
a point where Pete needs to tell us about his favorite.
Though this isn't my favorite, but this is a pretty good one because the Wicked Witch of the East is moving her house. I love. Oh my gosh! So she comes out when those kids are. She's cursing up a blue streak at these kids. Like, you can't. I hate you kids or whatever that. And she's
I was a
talking to
teacher
the-
here. You were
Yeah.
all rat bastards. Like, she is just going hard at them.
and she's like, you need to leave. I'm leaving, and I'm taking my house with me. And she almost does it because she's literally moving this house. And one of the trivia bits was this house was actually getting moved, and the producers convinced the people who were moving the house, like, hey, hang out for a couple of weeks, and we'll film this house, which is it was in the middle of actually getting moved. So
Yeah,
this
it's a legit move. So it's
it was-
actually up on the rollers,
on
the
stilts,
hydraulic lifts.
so
Yeah.
it could be put on.
So
a
I've
flatbed or
been
whatever.
involved in stuff like that. We've
Have
I've
you?
actually
never
That's
had
seen
to
that
raise,
be
fascinating.
done before. So
Oh
like,
yeah,
the idea of someone going, you know what, I'm taking my house
Yeah.
with me, and that just feels like like a bluff. Like you're
It-
just talking out your ass. But no, Mrs. Burke was seriously taking that town with her or that
yeah.
house.
In my hometown when I was growing up, there was a house that came in 2 pieces and was set down on a plot, and they Legoed them together or whatever.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
in my kid brain, it'd be like, isn't there a line somewhere in your house where you can tell that it's
It's
two houses
wallpapered
in one?
over.
Yeah.
it's called the marriage joint. But yeah, no, it's legit. And if you watch this movie not knowing that that's what happened, say as a contractor, you're going, wow, the production department did a really good job, because you see all the plumbing parts outside because they
Yep.
have to disconnect all this.
Mhm.
everything's taken apart from underneath, and there's real hydraulic jacks holding the house up. So if you had no idea about that trivia, you're like, man, they went all out for Children of the Corn too. That
That's
was
where
a
that-
good chunk of budget right there.
That's where
the
that extra 100,000 went.
That's where that extra hundo went. But it was great, like thinking ahead, seeing that going, we can make that work, which is even better because I think she was supposed to die a totally different way.
I would imagine that was probably a pivot by the production and the director.
Oh
went,
yeah,
"Oh,
this probably
I can
fell in
use
their
this."
lap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it totally did.
Now, why they really laid into the Wicked Witch of the West or East ending, I have no idea whose idea that was.
Well, what better kill for a cranky old gal than to have her house fall on top of her and her legs are sticking out.
Her legs are sticking out and she's screaming under the house, "What a world, what a world."
Oh, what a world.
I looked at Jackie and go, did they just Wizard of Oz her? And she's like, I think so.
As the house is just ever so slowly.
It was
closing
the
in on her.
Austin Powers steamroller moment. Like,
Oh, gosh.
just roll to the left or right. You would have been fine.
And maybe you'll be all right, right? Oh,
No.
gosh.
Oh my
And then her
God.
sister, the Wicked Witch of the West, shows up
Yeah.
in a wheelchair. Oh,
We will get
man.
to that.
we'll
because,
get
my
to
God.
we'll get to the Wicked Witch of the West later, but it just I was in tears already with this scene as this this house is slowly getting lowered on this poor old lady, and then her sister shows up on a wheelchair later. Again, cursing up a blue storm, like it's your kids, it's your fault.
And the
I've warned you about
kids
them.
Are always there.
They're always
Like,
there.
Every time someone turns around, there's kids staring
no
at
one
them.
does anything about the kids either. Like
No.
we have the reporter John, who's come in to see what all happened with the town, and his son Danny,
And
who's
his
also the
dickhead
rightful
son.
age to be, possessed by he who walks behind the corn. But those kids, they're walking everywhere, and not a single like adult goes, all right, you guys need to like spread it out, because last time you all conjured up, you started murdering all of us. So like,
Right,
knock that
right.
shit off.
Where's
Why
the
doesn't
peace
anyone have
officer?
like a bottle of water that spritz them? Spritz them
you
like
do
a
your
cat. Yeah.
Squirt, squirt.
Go home.
Go, go on, get.
I don't know. I kept laughing at in some of the dialogue in this thing because I think it's the sheriff goes, well, that's what you get when these kids watch a bunch of horror movies. But then he makes a reference to them being Amish. And I'm like, someone either doesn't know what the Amish are actually about, or you're just spitting stuff out because it sounded cool. Because I'm like, these kids have not watched, if they're Amish, they have not watched a horror movie.
Not at all.
Like,
There's no way.
seriously.
Probably not.
There's even a line in the beginning where I can't remember who says it, but they're like, what is all this shit about the corn? Like,
oh, it's the reporter at the beginning. Because
he's
he's
reporter. All right,
surrounded.
John.
There's corn everywhere.
It's
The
Nebraska.
the other reporter that's like doing the
The
television
TV
spot.
reporter at the very
Oh, okay.
beginning.
Yeah. And there's like corn stalks in the roads on everything. And he's like, what's going on with this corn? He's just really mad. But he's also one of our other cool kills in this movie whenever they take the news van off road into a cornfield, which I don't know. That sounded like a great idea at the time. And literally a tornado. Somebody watched Wizard of Oz before they made this movie.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And then a twister appears and throws corn stalks through the van, through the radio van.
All right. So we've got these news reporter guys that come across. We can't gloss over, guys, the greatest CGI cloud known to man in film history.
Well, that was go ahead, Nate. If I read right, there was an old timey way you do clouds, and you mix something in a bathtub and you stirred it up. I don't think it was CG. It was practical effects. It was a green screen.
So it was a practical effect then layered over the film.
It's a practical effect that's actually was used as late as Independence Day when they
that's what it was. Yeah, that's how
they do the cloud
came
over top of the spaceship of the White House. That's how they filmed.
That's super
that.
cool. Looked terrible.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Yeah.
The colors didn't quite match up. Like the blacks and the
looks
grays
so bad.
didn't quite match up. Right.
But like
Watch
these
the
news
first
reporter
one
guys-
again, and you'll be like, "Well, it's a little bit better."
Yeah.
Because the
Oh,
first
okay.
one had some pretty bad cloud CG in it.
Well,
It was
because,
also
like,
10 years earlier.
This is true.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
But like, I knew we were in for a treat when we get to see the first kill of the movie, which is just a cornstalk like leaf, not the stalk itself. Just the leaf blows against the wind and slits that guy's throat, and he's just grabbing his throat, and there's all this blood. I went, oh, hold on. Whoa, what we got here?
This might be pretty cool.
I was like, this might be pretty cool because that's absolutely ridiculous that a leaf just slit a man's throat. And then his friend is like running to the van, getting in it, and then a cornstalk blasts him in the throat through the windshield. I went, I'm in. This is the greatest sequel ever made. Like,
Sold. Here's
Yeah.
my money. Let's go. I am fully invested at this point for sure.
And we never see it again till the end of the
never
movie when they
hear
just
about them.
they happen upon the
Oh, that's
crime
right.
scene.
We also get to see what the corn sees, which is actually predator vision, it turns out.
Mhm.
Predator corn vision. It's so messed up. Oh God, man!
I love this movie.
It's
I-
it's great. It's hilarious for how
I
bad
want to
it
marry
is.
this movie.
Oh,
Oh my God!
I'll get my license just to do that for you, Nate.
Thank you. Get ordained so I can marry
I'll get ordained
Children of the Corn too.
just to marry you to Children of the Corn too. Hey, that's our top tier of our Patreon level.
You can get wed by Pete, our very own. Give me back my ordained
No, no.
minister.
That might be a thing. Let's try this. Anyway.
Oh,
But no, all right, we all three have to do it, and then you get
I'll-
like a package
yeah.
deal.
Oh,
where
yeah.
all three of us ordain the marriage.
I can baptize your
do-
children in beer.
what we do, we all three get it. But then if they want to, they have to spin the wheel to figure out who actually does it. They don't
Yeah,
get to
there
pick.
we go. Yeah,
It's all by
Get a
chance.
pick.
and we can tag in each other when needed for like bathroom
That's
breaks
right.
and such.
So you get the action themed, or the horror themed, or the beer themed.
Well,
or the
here
weird
are
Japanese
packages
theme.
that we offer.
All these packages. Yeah, we do have to talk about this movie. There's two other shows that we got to stand shoulder to shoulder with here, guys.
Yeah, but those other shows aren't ordaining people right now like we
Right.
are.
We don't know if Leo's ordained or not. Like, he might be. He may
Well,
be.
if
ahead of
Anyone
the
would
curve
be,
on
it'd
all
be
of them.
Leo.
I
wouldn't
bet
it?
That's why
there
I
would
said
be
Leo.
Yeah.
out of 8 people, there's probably someone that's ordained. So I like
I
the
say
odds.
it's between Hydraberg and Leo. That's who I say it is.
Can't you get ordained from a Cracker Jack box anymore? I mean,
Just a website.
I
It's
think you
pretty
can just
easy.
go to a website, pay the
Yeah.
$50, and then
Yeah.
tell them what title you want.
Damn,
master of the
today.
universe.
Ooh, wait a minute. Hold on.
I want wizard.
Nobody told me if that was a thing or not. So, all right. Well, we need to get straightened back out here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the commercial since it took so long to get the trailer out,
I feel like we're doing good.
and then we'll jump back.
I've got a
into it.
lot to talk about here.
I know. We'll just
I
go
wrote
ahead.
down a
And,
shit ton.
I did
Let-
too.
let's just go ahead and let's get this out of the way,
Okay.
and I will turn you guys back loose. Here we go.
We'll be back following these messages.
Do you like horror movies?
Do you like hanging out with your buddy?
Do you like cracking jokes and having a good time?
Do you just like fun?
Well, consider checking out Spoils of Horror. We are an hour-long podcast that comes out every single week.
We're not doing reviews. We're just going to hang out, talk about the movies we love with each other, and hopefully the ones you love too.
Covering everything from the popular, the lost, the forgotten, and the bizarre.
If you're looking for a good podcast and a good time, you're going to want to check us out.
We're on all major podcasting platforms, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter.
Check it out. We'll see you there.
It's the ultimate challenge. Crossfire. Crossfire. You get caught up in the crossfire. Crossfire. Crossfire.
Welcome to 100 Horrors, a comedy podcast that seeks to rank the best 100 horror films of all time, as dictated to us by a poster that one of us owns.
Every week, we bicker over another film in an attempt to give it an overall scare factor and secure its place in the 100 Horrors list.
With features such as...
But at least I won't die like that. And...
What would you say to them at the funeral?
We take a light-hearted approach to horror cinema so that it can be enjoyed by even the most squeamish of listeners.
So whether you're the person who's never seen a horror film in their life, or the person who has a tattoo of Leatherface on the right arse cheek, there's something to be enjoyed in every episode of 100 Horrors.
Welcome back.
Now, you see, the fellas over at 100 Horrors, they have to follow the rules of the poster. That's why they couldn't do part 4.
That's true. That's true. Well, I was going to say there's two very important points that commercial break I need to bring up. The first is, as Nate said, we have 100 Horrors playing there because you would think we would play in a cut above horror review.
It would make
commercial.
sense that we would promote
Big
one
giant
podcast titled "A
crossover.
Cut Above."
Yeah.
Lovely hosts.
They don't have a commercial.
Yes.
So
How long have they been doing this?
a while.
Yeah,
But
I'm pretty sure for a while.
I can't say a whole lot.
Hydraberg, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Jackie.
Get on it.
Hydraberg.
It
What-
took us a little
what's
bit
going
on ours, so we'll give them a
Yeah,
little
you
bit.
guys did take almost a year.
Honestly, you know what? You're right. I instantly regret calling them out for this.
I'm not editing that though. So, and part 2 of the things I want to bring up is Nate never remembers the last episode we record.
I've got really
because
bad memory
He
issues.
hasn't got to listen to it because of the way we stagger our recordings. So, in what you have heard in the last stand episode, Nate requested the Crossfire because I play a Hot Wheels commercial, and he's like, I just really like that song, and it's a Crossfire, and he starts singing it. So I remembered, and I put it in this one, and I was like, well, normally I try to tie it into the movies.
Yeah.
How do I spin this? Well, I was like, well, Crossfire's really close to saying crossover, and this is an epic triple crossover with our friends at A Cut Above and Spoils of Horror. So it's the Crossfire crossover special.
If any listener wants to donate a copy of Crossfire to me, just slip into my DMs.
I had that as a kid. I wish I
Nice.
still did. I love that game.
I was also
Yeah, so-
thinking that Crossfire might.
To me, Crossfire.
I was also thinking Crossfire might also relate to the cross that showed up on the
On
Wicked
Mrs. Burke's?
Wicked Witch of the East's house.
I
that
kept
was
calling-
the green mold.
Oh, that
Well-
wasn't poop. I
It
thought
was
they
not
smeared
poop.
poop on her house.
I thought it was poop.
Yeah,
I thought
that
it
was-
was poop. Her
swore-
reaction was definitely that of poo.
When that dude wipes it on his pants, I go, that dude just wiped poop on his pants.
Why? She smelled the poo.
He also didn't react as if it was poo, though, too. It was like,
Oh,
did
know
you
what?
enjoy
When you
that
live in a
smell?
town where
Well,
children
right.
are murdering the adults, it just makes sense that like poop on house is just like a normal occurrence here.
But then isn't it even weirder that the poo eats through his pants later on? That's some
That's-
serious poo.
I yelled that out, too. I was like, that was some terrible poo.
No, that
Bad
was the
poo,
green.
man.
That was the green mold that they tried to blame all of this on later on in the film. Did you kind of catch what they were
So-
trying to do?
So that was one of the things that I think the movie was trying to.
It was a red herring, is what it was.
Well, it was and it wasn't.
Eh,
So the green mold, we find out that the townsfolk aren't willing to lose the money from last year's harvest from the first movie.
right. Last year's
Basically-
harvest is ruined
Yes. So
and will ruin the town. Hmm.
even though these movies are 8 years apart, as this movie is, it's the following year.
They are direct sequels. Yes.
Yes. So what we find out is there is this conspiracy that the whole town is involved in,
Mhm.
that they're going to take the new harvest of corn, mix it with the old molded harvest Now they try to sprinkle in that it's potentially the mold causing the children to act a certain way, or
Yes.
the explanation for some of the deaths, even though it's the children killing them. So they try really hard to blend this, but it is one of the failures of the movie. It doesn't quite come across that way. It's either stick with he who walks behind the corn and leave it at that, as it's a spiritual possession type of thing, or let it be a chemical kind of thing, and that is actually what is controlling the
Yeah,
children.
it's like they couldn't make up if they wanted to be
Yeah.
grounded in realism or the supernatural.
Right.
They tried to science it up. They tried to like, look, we're going to explain this with science,
Which
and
is
that
weird
and they sort of kind of do, but then there really is, as it would appear to the viewer, a supernatural being behind the corn. And even Dr. Red Bear was saying that there were stories of he who lives behind the corn or
Yeah.
whatever.
He was
So there
talking
was
about-
a mystical Native American indigenous mythology going on there, which I really would have preferred they to lean into versus this this
that would have been
LSD
great
corn.
because one of the things, and this is actually kind of perfect. Spoils of Horror just did Pet Cemetery 2,
Yes.
which I've
Yes.
never seen. I've only seen the first one. I didn't even watch the
Our
remake,
buddy Ed
honestly.
Furlong's in it
Eddie Furlong
from Brain Scan, right? Brain Scan.
Yep, Brain Scan.
Brain Scan.
Yeah.
So they brought up. I've never read the book because Stephen King's books are like 900 pages, and I have ADHD. And we're lucky I can read 3 sentences before I have to go back to rereading 3 sentences and going.
No
I'm overwhelmed.
explanation necessary.
Yep. So what Stephen and Leo talk about is in the book. God, I hate saying this word, but the Wendigo is kind of what is helping things move along, I guess, in Pet Cemetery.
That
you're
is-
dealing
yeah,
with
the
Native
overall spirit.
American.
It's not touched in the films, but yeah, from what I understand, the mythological creature,
I
the
don't
Wendigo.
even like saying mythological with that word. I am very paranoid about it. But
Wendigo?
Shut up!
It's a character in X-Men too, man. What? It's Wendigo. Yeah, you're fine.
It's-
You know what?
Wendigo was on
That's
the
on
Alpha
you.
Flight.
Not on me.
Yeah.
That's on you.
It's Wendigo.
Bloody Mary,
Not
Bloody
on me.
Mary, Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
No,
Beetlejuice,
stop it.
Beetlejuice.
All right, that one could be party. That could be fun.
Pete.
Oh,
He's right here.
February.
No,
You
but
rang. I
but
have a
Stephen-
movie for you.
I was.
but Stephen King does like to tie in a lot
But
of
it made
like
me wonder if the same thing with this, where it's like, oh, like especially when the Native American character was introduced,
Yeah.
like that was the first thing that came to my mind. I went, oh, like maybe there's going to be something else here, especially with him. Kind of, he has this knowledge, but he also has a great line of like, my people respect the earth. We understand how everything gives and takes. I believe it was, or something like
Right.
that, and
Yeah.
that the white man just doesn't care. And,
Well, and see that-
eventually it comes around to bite you in the ass.
So I kind of have a theory of my own into this after watching the movie, because I didn't read anything before I started watching it. So afterwards, I find out some of the plot, like at the end of the movie when they're running through the corn, the thing that's behind the corn rows underground, that's all taken straight from the first movie. Those scenes are
Those scenes-
literally
I
from the
thought
first
they looked awfully good
Yeah.
for being in this movie.
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, and honestly, watch the first one just a little bit
Yeah,
ago.
I
It's
rem-
exact.
Yeah, it's a great effect. It's they like pull like a basketball under a tarp with
tarp that's
dirt
covered
on
with
top.
dirt.
Yeah, it's a great effect.
It's very
They
Tremor
did-
style. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say they did the same thing in Tremors.
Yeah. So anyway, so I read though that was not their original intent. It was supposed to be just them running through the corn
Oh,
with the kids chasing them. So I had this thought that maybe the original movie wasn't actually supposed to be supernatural whatsoever. There wasn't supposed to be an evil spirit.
yeah.
Because I started thinking back, even to the point when I forget the kid's name that gets taken over by
Trent Reznor?
Michael or Micah,
Micah.
something like that.
Micah.
Yes.
So when he does the transformation and they kind of do that lawnmower man-esque scene, it's these black orbs that they show going through the space and like basically bonding to parts of his body. That's very much like a spore of a mold going into your
Interesting.
circulatory system.
Ah.
And then there's always this cloud that is going around, which could be, they talk about that the mold is in the wind. All of us could be breathing it in. They mentioned that in the movie. I literally think they added at the end of this, he who walks behind the rose under the ground, and then did the transformation of the demon face on Micah when it leaves his body, because it literally could have been Micah, and they could have as simply as him spitting out some type of black goo out of himself to make it literally the mold controlling these kids going mad. And they could have laid into that. And honestly, I would have been happy with that. I didn't need
I would have been
the
okay with that.
supernatural side of it.
Yeah.
Now, I like the demon face effect. It looked cool. It was a cool
It was good.
prosthetic.
It was good.
I also wasn't real happy with the ending of this movie. And I know we're not quite there yet, but I just, since we were talking about this whole thing about this sounds like two different storylines, I really feel like they had one. And then someone like said, nope, it's got to be, about a demon. It's got to be a spirit. There's got to be like everything that came from the beginning, the first movie. We have to still tie it in, but I don't think that was the original. And that's just my theory. I haven't done any.
I like that theory. I like that theory a lot because it makes a lot more sense that they introduced that sciencey mold. They discovered that bin of corn from the previous season.
Yeah.
And Dr. Red Bear says, "Oh, this is bad. This is a mold that can cause what do you say? Insanity. It can
insanity,
really,
hallucinations. It can kill.
It's LSD, is what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
he literally
that's where you
lays
get LSD.
into how deadly it is, and they even try to use it as an excuse for why some of the people are dead.
Yeah.
It's like maybe it's causing the kids to go crazy. So I really think at some point that was their end goal. It was supposed to be literally the corn causing all of this.
Yeah,
which
that feels right.
Would have been brilliant.
Yeah,
it would have been brilliant.
Really
but
feels
then
good.
I think they probably were also just like every horror movie. Well, we got to think about a sequel, and if we make it that it's pesticides, then we can't have they have a cure now, and we can't ever do it again. So we might as well lean into the supernatural element.
I mean, I guess if they were thinking that far ahead, but for the fact that this sequel didn't come out for 8 years, I honestly think this was get the movie out, get it done, pump and dump. Let's do it. Because that's what the rest of the sequels. Number 3 is, I think, the last one that even ties back into the first movie.
Oh,
like, I think after 3 with, I think 2 other ones possibly reference the original trilogy, but then the others go completely off. So I have a small confession to make. I did watch the first Children of the Corn. I really, really, really wanted to watch Children of the Corn Part 3, but like Nate said, I couldn't find it anywhere easily. And I'll get into more about that in a little bit on why I think we didn't get the better end. But Tubi did have, after Children of the Corn Genesis. And I was like, well, I think this is like number 6 or 7.
Oh,
this
no.
is fairly later. And there's a reason Charlie watched it. And it for those of our regular fans that are like, man, it's been a long time since Charlie's brought up a certain actor that him and Nate absolutely love to death and get super excited when they say his name.
Oh, boy, who is it? I'm over here jonesing. Who is it?
I Googled it real quick and I went, oh, Billy Drago plays the main preacher in it. And I am watching this movie. So
Billy Drago's in a Children of the Corn movie?
Yes.
Oh,
Children of
my
the Corn
God!
Genesis.
I need to see this.
It is the least Children of the Corn movie I think that's in the whole sequel thing. And it starts great, and then I don't know what happens, but it just just disintegrates into chaos. Not a good movie. But I sat there and I watched Billy Drago in a Children of the Corn movie today just because it was
I'm
Billy
so happy to
Drago.
know about this. I'm in Serenity now.
I knew you would appreciate it, but I was like, I
Damn
needed
straight I
an
would.
excuse to bring up Billy Drago again.
It was
It's
either
been too long.
Genesis or I can't remember. There's like another one that was like they have a very like mid 2000s cover, but they were part of that line that was always direct to video from Dimension Studios. It was like Dimension Extreme. And if I remember right, one of those Children of the Corn movies came from Dimension Extreme, or maybe two of them did.
So there's Children of the Corn 5, which is Fields of Terror. Then there's
Isaac returns in one of them.
Well, there's Children of the Corn 666, Isaac's
Hell yeah.
Return, which is
Yeah.
one of the few that actually reference.
Is it the original Isaac?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's this.
like he
the
came back.
original
He's
Isaac came back.
still around. I saw him
Yeah.
at a convention a couple years
Yeah.
ago.
He's I think he's actually directed his own.
Oh, good for
horror
him.
movie.
That's great. He played
there's-
cousin It in Adam's Family with
Yes.
Raul
Yes, he
Julia.
did.
Yeah,
I didn't know
he
that.
was
Nice.
he was the guy in the suit because he's a
That's awesome.
he's a small statured person.
Yeah, so there's Children of the Corn Revelation, Children of the Corn Runaway, Children of the Corn Genesis. Then we got the remake that comes out this year, which is just Children of the Corn. My phone's not scrolling. Children of the Corn 4, The Gathering. And the one Stephen and Leo for 3 is also Urban Harvest.
You could have made
So-
up all those titles, and I would just nod along like, yeah, that makes sense.
So that's basically the list of like.
I had no
most, and I think
idea.
I'm missing some. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that the Children of the Corn franchise was so deep.
It runs deep.
And it
I mean-
literally is because they don't want to let go of the license. So it's just pop it out. Like this one, the trailer looked cool for the one that comes out this year. Like I was actually kind of like, like excited, but I've read some of the first reviews about it, and it's like literally another one that just falls flat on its face.
Mhm.
So it's like, damn it. Can we just please
But here's the
just
thing.
get
Now
back
they
to
have
it?
the rights again. So 2 years from now, we'll get another direct-to-video sequel or something,
So we'll get Children of the Corn 2. Is that
I'm
maybe that was
surprised
their,
we
that was
haven't
their
gotten
plan?
a requel,
That was their plan, man. This was supposed to come out in 2020. So Children of the Corn reboot 2 would have come out in 2022.
In 20 but
Yep.
So now what do they do?
how
That's
about
insane.
we just do the Chucky franchise? We do Children of the Corn, Return of the Children of the Corn, Son of Children of the Corn, Brides plural of the Children of the Corn,
Children of the
Legion of Children of the Corn.
Okay, I
Children
got
of
you.
the Corn, the Husking.
Oh, okay. How about this? The Children of the Corn Strikes Back. Return of the Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh.
Oh.
The Phantom of the Children of the Corn.
Phantom of the Children of the Corn.
Attack of the Children of the Corn.
Attack of the Killer.
Are you on a you're on a Star Wars
Revenge
kick here?
of
I
the
see.
Killer-
Yeah,
No, not at all, dude. Like I'm just working these up on the top of my head.
These are off the top of your head, right?
Yeah. So Revenge of the Children of the Corn would be that before.
Children
And
of the
then-
Corn, The Quickening.
Yep. Children of the Corn. Well, the quickening does happen in this movie.
True.
C2 Harvest Day instead
Oh,
of T2
wow,
Judgment Day.
C2.
I was trying to work it through. Yeah.
I
was trying to
win.
think of Judgment Day. You win.
The
I
Children
win.
of the Corn
Done.
Awakens. Last of the Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what he's
Skywalker of the Corn. Or is that your next one?
Rise of the Children of the Corn.
Rise.
There you go. There you go.
The
Children of the Corn.
of the Corn.
The Corn Wars.
Yes, yep.
Corn Wars.
Book
like
of the
that one.
Children of Corn.
Army of the Children of the Corn.
The Corn DeLorean.
The Corn DeLorean.
The Bad Children of the Corn Batch.
Corn Defet.
I'm really running out over here.
Really?
Tales
Corn
of the
Boys
Children
for
from the
Life.
Corn.
Corn Boys for Life.
Okay.
An American Children of the Corn in London. It's when we go abroad.
So, yeah, right. Speaking of broads, no.
Yeah.
That's a terrible segue.
I was like, I'll roll with you if you want to go that way.
Are we going to talk about the steamy, very needed sex scene in Children of the Corn 2?
The most boring sex scene I may have ever seen on the silver screen.
It was
My God.
so sweaty, but so boring.
Oh, so bad. And it was so it was a little out of place because
I was totally out of place.
I didn't feel like they were. I mean, clearly that gal is a lovely woman, and he's a turd.
Okay.
What was it that she said? She said that she was this is the gal that owned the bed and breakfast, right?
Right.
And I don't remember the actor's name. If
She
you
was
can
in
help
one
me.
of the
I've seen
Nightmare
her
on Elm
before.
Streets.
Yes, 2 or 5 was it? Okay.
Okay.
The one with Seth Green.
Oh, okay, right. Anyway, she was saying that she was an advertising exec in New York City, had a penthouse and a condo, and she had amazing sex with a scumbag lawyer or attorney or something like that, right? So then she jumps into bed with a scumbag
News columnist.
News columnist. Well, he was a tabloid, the tabloid columnist. I'm like,
It just happens out of nowhere.
You gotta type, honey. My goodness. But anyway, yeah, and it happens out of nowhere.
It just goes.
It's like when they first meet, she's like, "Oh, he's looking at my boobs, but he's reading my shirt. I guess it pays to advertise." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Stop looking at my boobs. And then they get a room at her bed and breakfast. And at no point in the film, outside of them chatting on the porch just before they hop in the sack, was there any sort of relationship buildup. And they're consenting adults. If the mood comes to you and everyone's on board, go for it. I got no problems with that. But it felt so, it was so boring.
Well, fun fact: those two actors hated each other even before the movie.
Wow,
apparently they had worked together. They hated each other.
Oh no!
Didn't want to film that, and she only agreed if they could get it done in 3 takes.
Oh, that's so uncomfortable. No wonder it felt bad.
And it feels that way.
It does.
Like,
you're watching.
seriously.
You're like, this is supposed to be sexy, and it's like, oh, these are 2 attractive people, and I want nothing to. Anyway,
while John is finding love in the Children of the Corn, so is his son Danny.
That is not the way you should say that.
Is it not?
Too late. It stays in.
Okay, Nate's on a list now.
Not me. John's on the list. He's the one making love to the Children of the Corn.
Stop saying it like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just talking about John, a grown man.
Don't say it
love,
again.
No.
And children that happen to be of the corn.
Just go. What's your point? Go.
Well, Danny has a little crush on the girl that's riding the moped around the town.
The only one not taken over by
that one didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like all the kids are in this cult club, culture cult, whatever.
It's not Culture Club. That's a band.
No,
Pete.
I misspoke. I'm like, wait, that's not right. She's the only one in the whole town that's not in this cult.
There you go. I know cult's also a band.
And she's a lovely young gal. She was a soap opera queen. She was in a ton of soap operas. Yeah. Christy something or other. Now I gotta look it up.
Clark.
Christy Clark. Yes. Anyway, she was lovely. And they had a cute young love relationship, and
it's that classic kid goes on summer vacation
exactly
out of town, and he finds love, Yep.
And she's certainly not innocent in this.
No.
I mean, she invites him to a secluded cabin, and then after he gets afraid of being up on a roof,
They run through the cornfields.
They run through the cornfields, and then they smooch.
You can
and
have me if you can catch me.
Right,
And it's
right.
very, very fun, like, cat and mouse little game they're
it's-
playing. They
it's
fall
pretty
on the
innocent.
It is, and it's fine. She's literally older than me now, but you're watching
Yeah.
this and you're trying to remember, like, okay, this is totally fine when I was watching it as a kid. And
Oh, yeah.
then they're canoodling on the ground, and then the boner killer 5000 appears, and they are laying on top of a severed hand,
Yeah.
and realize they're surrounded by a bunch of dead bodies watching them do this the whole time.
Do you wonder if he's
worse?
That
wonder
would
if-
kill the mood.
But before the mood was killed, do you think maybe he's like, oh, she's going to town.
Oh, he was there.
She's copping a feel, and then he goes,
Yeah.
"What? I see both of your hands.
Yeah.
Whose hand is that?"
Yeah.
Is that yours or mine? Is that yours, or are you just happy to see me?
Right.
Nah, but yeah, I literally looked at Jackie and went, well, that's a boner killer. It's done. Oh, man.
Oh yeah, that's that.
And
Even
because
a-
he's a
even an
teenage
18-year-old
boy, in his
dude is
head, he's
gonna-
just like, how can we
Hmm.
recover? Like, how can we
No.
bounce back? There's got to be a way. And it's just like, no, dude, for the day, it's
No,
it's
no,
over.
Yeah, you're
done.
both
just
both.
done.
Both
Yep.
of you.
Done.
It's-
No. So we are at an hour 12. We might have 5 minutes to cut out. So you guys want to jump into the finale of this once they take everybody over?
Yeah,
You guys have the
yeah,
notes. Yeah.
I think we should. I mean, I really haven't gone over any of my notes.
Actually, I got a pretty good area.
Right.
So,
Well, you take it where you want. I'm not worried about how long it goes. I was just giving y'all an update on where we're at time-wise.
Okay, so if we're going to the end, I have something for the end.
I've got some
Or-
stuff before the end.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess I have
actually,
something
this works
right
out
before the
pretty good.
end, and then two things at the end.
So, one of the things that we get to see is a very, very gruesome death inside of the church with Trent Reznor and a voodoo doll.
Oh man, this
Oh,
was
yeah.
this was done so well. This
It
whole
was done
shot
amazing.
needs to go in the museum of. I did a amazing practical effect. This was wonderful.
Like, we are seeing Mika carving the nose of
Yeah,
this
he's doing
guy.
sort of a wooden voodoo doll thing, right?
Yeah. And like the guy's nose is just slowly pouring out blood, just slowly, and like he's coughing up a bit.
It's
But
allergy
the shots
season.
of Mika just like digging further and further into the doll, and then that blood just going more and more and more, and then like he just starts spilling blood all over people sitting next to him.
It's just shy of a fountain coming out of
Yeah.
his nose.
It was a
I mean, so
geyser.
it's still it's a geyser. It's not a fountain, but it's a geyser, and it's just on the other side of real. Like it's not completely wackadoo it like a samurai movie where you chop a hand off and you get a fountain.
Yeah,
This
it's not a
is
hose. It's
almost real, but it's an excessive amount of blood. And you see that Micah was carving so hard that he missed once and stabbed himself in the thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Yeah.
that was part of the ritual, maybe to just to complete the curse or whatever was going on.
I think
Well,
Micah was still just the bumbling idiot that the demon was stuck with. And
Yeah,
he
like,
This is true. That
well,
could be that very
dumbass,
well
you
could
done
be.
I'm
stabbed
not the
yourself.
goth, so like, yeah,
Yeah,
of course he
he's-
stabs himself.
he
Of course, he's got one
slips.
job.
He slips before he stabs himself, and he like pokes the doll's ear, and then blood starts coming out of the guy's ear.
Oh,
So it's literally like pouring out of every like almost orifice of his face, all in the middle of church, all in the middle
Oh.
of the
Wha-
preacher preaching fire and brimstone.
fornication.
which
I don't
fornication.
ejaculation, masturbation.
Why are they just picking select adults to kill? That was the thing I did not understand. Like,
That didn't make a lot of sense either. It wasn't
like,
like
you're all
that guy ever
already
pissed
evil.
Micah off, right?
just start killing all the adults. Like, why are we doing these selective killings right now?
Maybe it's more fun that way.
It may be. Maybe that's what the demon wants.
Again, I lead back into I don't think the demon was the storyline.
Right.
originally.
Right. Which the more and more we talk about this, the more relevant I think your theory
Yeah,
is,
Yeah.
the more credence there is to that theory where they were all hallucinating and
Yeah.
going
It literally
crazy,
they
going
talk
mad.
about the mold when it's airborne can cause a lot of like damage and stuff. Easily could have explained why the guy would start hemorrhaging blood out of,
Yeah,
his
that it
body,
would.
because it's his nose, everything that's attached to his sinuses, even down to the
Mhm.
ear canal. All that could have been explained with it just being a mold spore. And this kid even could have been hallucinating that he's causing it. Like,
Right.
I have all this power. There's a big difference. And we're going to continue talking about this movie, but because this was the reason I wanted to watch the first one before we did this. The first one does such a fantastic job of really kind of keeping it biblical. Like they literally go, praise God, we are doing God's work. We are doing like Isaac is a disciple of God, and God is he who walks behind the rows. So, what this one has done is they've just now made it more demonic because of the end of the first movie, because Isaac comes back out and he's possessed, whenever he goes back after Malachi.
Okay.
So, I think it was this, they had a struggle of that's what the first one did. People liked it. Do we need to keep it there? I swear this is one of those things where a producer got involved or a
Yeah.
studio got involved and no one's talking about that because there's so many other ways to have done this movie that would have just made it even better. I would have loved the fact to come out that this kid was possessed, or not possessed, but hallucinating all this carnage he's causing. And it's all easily explained by the mold. Like they could have had even a little thing at the end of the movie.
And maybe
where
what
People in
further,
hazmat suits at the end of the movie coming
yeah,
in and
maybe what
Would've been
further draws
awesome.
this.
and hauling people away in ambulances to extract the mold from their lungs and all. Yeah, you could have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love your theory, Charlie. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And this could also then explain, because we have a cop that is revealed to be a bad guy,
Mhm.
but he's not working for the children. Like he's just like
No.
not wanting the harvest to be
It-
known that it went bad.
Along with the doctor, Nate. So they had the doctor and the cop were in cahoots.
Yeah,
because they
that's
didn't want
right.
the reporter to know that they were going to mix this bad corn in with the good corn or this year's corn, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the big secret, which just again
It
puts
just
more
seems
weight to
completely-
Charlie's
Yeah.
theory that the original screenplay was more of a scientific, we can explain this away sort of thing than a supernatural, which at the very end did feel very tacked on. That whole last 10 minutes felt like, oh, okay.
Right.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could still have had all those kids trying to sacrifice people in the big stupid combine.
Oh, all that fits because they're still
Right.
under the
Right, they're still under
impression
the influence. Right.
that they're influenced, but it helps explain why this kid isn't quite Isaac enough. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah,
this
definitely.
guy feels like the stunt double. He's just not quite Isaac, but
He
just
is the B side that never makes it to the album. He's
Right.
there, but he's not he's not worthy to get onto the full length. Kind
he's
of thing.
West Coast Avengers versus regular
Yeah.
Avengers.
He's
You know?
Gary Sharon Van Halen compared to
Oh God.
David Lee Roth Van Halen.
Oh my God, that's great. I like that. Oh, that was good.
So leading up to the finale, the kids burned down the town hall,
With
everyone in
all
it.
the adults in it.
but it felt like there was only 6 adults in there, right?
Oh
Yeah.
no, I thought there was there only 6?
Well,
That's
I
what it
think there
felt
might
like.
have been a few more.
But
Now
they
look,
make the line that like all the adults have now been killed in the town, and I was just thinking to myself like, well, there was a lot of people in this town. Like,
yeah.
it's not a
True.
big town, but like, I felt like I only saw like 6 people.
Hmm.
Well,
Like,
there's another part that kind of goes with this. So, but I'll tell you my thing of during that whole burning thing, and they try to break the one window, and then they all give up, and like literally the preacher's
all just
holding
give-
on to the one woman, not letting her run away, and he's just like relegated himself to burning to death. I was like, there were other windows in the building, people. I think I could have got out. You know what I mean? I don't
Well,
understand.
I would have died trying. Damn it, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I would like the
Right.
guy that does break the window. They don't show it, but he's covered in what looks like gasoline. So it
Oh.
would have been cool if there had been a shot of one of the kids like
Mhm,
throwing
throwing gas on him.
gasoline in
Yeah.
his face. Then the flame would have went inside better,
Oh.
but they don't
Oh, that
show
would've been
that.
awesome. Oh,
Right,
man.
man, I can make so many movies so
Damn
much better.
right.
But
That's all you
Write
keep
that one
doing.
down.
that's right. I'm doing. Apparently, they need people to write Children of the Corn movies, so I think I'm in. We're going to figure out who.
Sounds like it's an easy property to get a hold of.
Probably is. It'll be the next Amityville. Children of the Corn
Let's make
vibrator.
it happen.
Never mind. We're not going to go
Children
down
of the
that one.
Corn versus the Amityville house.
Another Patreon level.
There you
We're gonna
go.
make a Children of the Corn. Corn versus Amityville. Yeah, I like it, Nate.
I mean, I can already see the cover. It's the Amityville house, but then it's fields of
A
corn
sickle,
behind
Yeah,
it.
it's surrounded by corn. Yeah, and it's red.
Oh yeah, and the silhouette of the sickle and the
Yeah.
moon. Yeah. Let's do it. I'm gonna write that. Anyway, yeah. So they get, but the other thing I was gonna say was what they make this comment that they killed all the adults in town, but I'm still like, well, the Outlander's still running around, so apparently you haven't. But also at the end of this movie, I kept going, where the hell did that kid come from? Are they just grabbing random kids that I've never seen in the entire movie and just going, oh no, they've been there the whole time? And
They
I
got
swear there
random
was like
kids?
3 of them. I kept going, I have not seen you this entire movie, and now you have screen time.
And they're all getting punched in the face.
Right.
Like-
Oh, you want a fun little trivia thing? This film was made in North Carolina that doesn't have child labor laws. So they
Oh,
were able to keep the
gross.
children up later because a lot of this happens at night, and they didn't get in trouble for having kids film late at night for this movie.
God, that's terrible. Come on.
I thought it
You
was
know
relevant.
The 90s were a different time.
I lived through them, man.
So did I.
As an adult, for
We
the
have
most part.
grown and we
I
have
was a
learned.
teenager.
I was an adult by age only. There's certainly there's a lot of mental.
None of us are adults right now either. So
No,
it's totally fine.
no. Have you listened to us lately?
It's
Or ever?
just if we do bad things, it's a felony. I don't know. It's
right. We pay a higher price at this point in time in our lives.
Yeah.
For dumbassery.
So we're at the end of this movie where I'm torn. I kind of like the fights and everything that lead up to it. They all have cornstalk spears that literally just have husks tied
so
to
awesome
real
that we have
spears.
Corn husk weapons.
It's
Somehow-
so absurd.
Trent Reznor has kidnapped, both Danny and John's love interests.
Yeah, the
And
girls.
now Danny has somehow fallen underneath the spell of Mika, or so we're to believe. He has
Yeah.
to sacrifice the girl, which I'm telling you, even if you're possessed, no teenager is going to be like, I'm going to sacrifice the girl I got a crush on. It's
No.
not happening. With
I
that
literally
machete, he's
got
going to
this-
instantly go be like, no, dude, I almost got to touch a boob until one of your damn cut off hands ruined the whole moment. Now I've been pissed off at you for the past 48 hours,
Yeah.
waiting for my chance. You gave me a machete, dumbass. That's on you. Now
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you because you prevented me from touching that boobie.
Right. My mind is clear.
Yes, I know exactly what my destiny is right now. But
I know what controls my destiny, and it's between my legs.
He got stock blocked. But
Stock blocked.
God damn it.
You're welcome. But I love that
Oh
they get the upper hand because Red Bear? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Red Bear,
That
yes. Dr. Red Bear.
Red Bear apparently has now come through the cornrows with a combine and is barreling down on these kids. And so they get enough distraction that they can break away. Yet Red Bear gets shot in the gut by an arrow. And again, this is where I went, who the hell is this kid? Like
Right?
that kid has a whole backstory because
did
he's
you
got
see
a
it?
Rambo face look
He
on
does.
his, like, he's like, yeah, you've
I
had
did
that
that.
coming for years, old
But
man.
he only had 2 arrows. There was only 1 arrow in his quiver
Yeah.
after that.
So if he missed, he's hosed.
Well,
He's
I
the
guess what he
he's-
should have done was start making corn arrows.
No, he's just Hawkeye. He goes, I fired my 2 arrows. I'm done. I'm out.
What do you mean you're done? Nope, that's what I
No,
came
I'm out
for.
of I'm out of arrows. But my other favorite part right after that is as they free everyone, the Malachi character, the stand-in for him, throws the spear at the adult news guy. He just straight up
John catches it.
Catches
like
it.
it's dodgeball. Like it's Billy
Right.
Madison because now he's looking at all these kids going, now you're all in big trouble.
And he throws it through the kid.
Oh.
Like it goes through this kid with some force.
It's so annoying what they did to the character of Mordecai in this movie, Malachi. I don't
Malachi,
know why I
yeah.
keep calling him Mordecai.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was his actual name in this. I think he was literally just the stand-in.
I mean, they definitely call him Mordecai.
No, it's
a
Mordecai.
couple
Yeah,
times. Yeah. So like,
there's Mordecai
clearly
and
him.
Jedediah are the two, like, because there's another one that's kind of a henchman-esque. You know, he was the more pretty boy of them that he just kind of followed along, and then he's also the one that chases them through the corn. And I did like that they kind of got like turned around in the corn, you know, like a corn maze. Like
yeah, 'cause
everyone's trying to
cornfields at
escape.
night
Oh,
are
yeah.
terrifying.
Right.
Have you walked through a cornfield?
No, I hate it.
Yeah.
Growing up in
it's-
Ohio,
it's
I hate
very
'em.
it's very easy to get turned
Just
around.
disoriented, and especially
yeah.
at night if there's no like moon
Oh,
or
at
anything
night
to see.
you're lost till morning.
You don't know
Forget
what's
it.
in that corn, and aliens like to land in them. I don't like it.
Tens of acres. If you're walking, they're like, oh, if I just walk in one direction, I'll find a road. Nope.
Not a guarantee.
Like,
Also,
it's
you don't
a
walk in a
huge
straight
fear of mine.
line whenever you do that in real life. You know, there's no such thing as walking in a straight line.
Well,
there's all kinds of things that throw you
that
off.
push you
can-
one way or the
Yeah,
other.
you can
If
literally
you're
walk
lucky,
in
you'll find
circle.
a ditch, and then you can follow the ditch. That's your
Yeah.
best bet.
But I like that everything got spun around. They all come back to it, and then it's just to this point where the movie falls apart for me, man.
Oh,
Like I
it just
swear,
goes all hell breaks loose. Everything's on fire.
everything's
Things are
on
on
fire. This kid's like screaming. He's got, I swear, it's the most annoying voice. I'm
Oh
so
my God.
glad that they did do the possession to change his voice because I couldn't stand when this kid was yelling. I was like, dear God, make it stop. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's like, I am now the demon from hell. And I'm like, okay, I'm
yeah,
in.
because the
Okay.
demon got its jacket stuck in the tractor, and it knew it was about to get swallowed.
Yeah, because Red Bear comes back to life
Red
miraculously.
Bear comes back to life,
Oh,
jumps
yeah,
in
he
the
does.
combine. Because what kind of weapon do you use in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Chainsaw.
A chainsaw, right?
Right,
In
okay,
Children of the Corn, what kind of weapon do you use?
A
Combine.
combine.
Right. So
A corn.
corn.
Sorry, I thought we were just naming the title of the movie as the
Oh,
weapon.
combine, you ding dong. So
I failed the assignment.
But
you did. You did.
But again, this is the part where, okay, so I get the demon has possessed this kid. He gets caught up in the combine. It's the longest drawn out death I have ever seen. But he's begging to the main kid, the one he calls his friend. And he's like, you're my friend. You have to help me. Then the demon just beelines
Beats
out
feet.
this dude's body. Like,
And that's
peace
the thing.
out, bro.
We see the demon's face start to appear, and I thought what was going to happen was he is now full demon, and now we're going to see the demon get ran over.
Right.
Right.
No, the demon just goes, I'm out.
He pieces out. We get to see the clear face of the kid unpossessed, still crying at his friend to save him, then gets sucked up into
and
the
they get
combine
sucked up into
anyway.
the combine.
And my God, do we get to see all the chunks just blow
Oh,
out?
they got spit out. Oh, that poor kid. That was one of my irony is a cruel mistress notes when
Trent Reznor was
when,
eaten by a
when
tractor.
Micah, the demon leaves Micah's body just in time for him to get eaten by a combine.
And while I was super happy that someone did get eaten by the combine, because now I get to say one of my favorite one-liners, he's discharged, Sarge. And then
I knew it.
Then when they all come back together, they're like, hey, where's Micah? And the kid lit, he's around. That totally was my favorite part of this movie. That might have been Universal Soldier. I'm not going to lie, but it will be in my rewrite of this movie. I can guarantee you that. Also, there's a car in the corn rows just parked outside. So my theory that he who is behind the rows is just a bunch of cars and car chases.
So
and
we're going to sit down with
okay
the
with that.
studio execs that own Children of the Corn. And, all three of us wearing our tuxedo shirts. Sitting in front of them. Yeah. And Charlie's going to pitch to them like, guys, I got the greatest idea to reboot Children of the Corn. They're like, whoa, we just did that. We're like, no. I want to redo part 2. And they're like, well, that's weird. Why would you want to do part 2? We're like, well, I got a lot of ideas. Sit down, shut up. You're going to listen to me.
Sit down and shut up.
2
Buckle
hours.
up, buttercups. Here we
Yeah.
go. And
People
then we're
typically
done.
remake the original. No. I want to remake part 2.
I think it's a whole new niche we get into. Not just remaking the originals, we remake the sequels.
Yeah.
We remake the sequels. I think we can do it. I'm in. That's Children of the Corn 2, guys. It's
This
a wild
movie-
ride. It's a wild ride.
I want to personally thank Stephen and Leo for creating this wonderful collaboration.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
I thank the he who walks behind the rows for landing this one in our lap. I'm a better person for having watched this film.
Absolutely. All right, well let's do our things
let's
here.
get
real
into
quick.
this.
All
What's
right.
the first thing?
Well, yeah. What is the first thing?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is raining butter.
Oh, raining butter.
Just picture the sound as butter.
Oh my God. Sweet, delicious butter. All over
salt-
my
it's a
popcorn.
All
If you're
salted
weird,
butter.
If you're weird, it's peanut butter.
In my
You are
popcorn?
No, on your corn on the cob. Peanut butter on your corn on the cob.
That
It's a thing.
scream was
You
because
monster.
Pete said peanut butter.
I might be a monster. I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, the body count for Children of the Corn Part 2, 28.
Oh, I was
Not
under.
bad.
My guess was under. Yeah,
But still, that's really
it's still
good.
that's
body
still pretty
count.
good.
That
Still
is.
pretty good.
I'm pretty happy with that. So, all right, that's our body count. Now our favorite part.
Kill
Kill
the
the
week.
week, boys.
I am so excited about this.
What do you think? Zombie kill the week?
All right, Pete, it's your triumphant return. What is your
I'm a little
kill of the
mad that
week?
he gets to go first, but I get it.
Here we go.
But I think it's because we are all sitting here.
Here we go.
I
Okay,
am
so
shaking because I'm so excited.
here we go. So, one of my favorite things in movies is the dummy toss. So, there was a great dummy toss in Grizzly from a park ranger station. There are dummy tosses. Oh, there are so many glorious dummy tosses in Bollywood films. Super Dave Osborne, dummy toss expert. Benny Hill. Few people do a dummy toss better than Benny Hill because they'll toss a dummy off of a building, it will land, and they'll make a terrible hard cut, and Benny Hill will stand up and brush himself off and chase some other skirt or something like that.
Yeah.
A dummy toss is never not funny, and they're wonderful and glorious and just make me laugh, howl with laughter, and I think this might be my very favorite dummy toss of all time because it is the most absurd thing.
I'm trying to hold it in over here. It's really hard.
Let me paint you a picture, ladies and gentlemen. Micah and his troop of weirdos are playing with an RC car in the street, following the Wicked Witch of the West, who just lost her sister. She is in a powered wheelchair where she can move it forward and backwards and side to side and all that stuff. So he's playing with this RC car, and then he uses his Micah powers or whatever. And even though the wheelchair doesn't have a radio receiver, Micah is able to control her wheelchair with his radio, with his RC controller.
He's like, watch this. And like, there's
pretty
no
much,
explanation.
He
He's
damn near
like,
looks
I
at
can
the
now.
camera and goes, watch this, folks.
It pulls it.
He damn near pulls up Deadpool, winks at the camera, and this old gal starts screaming, like, I can't control it. And he starts steering her into traffic. And cars are swishing and swerving all around her. And then she comes to a dead stop. And then you hear beep, 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 beep. And it's a semi-truck that isn't stopping, hits her, launches her and her wheelchair into the air, through a plate glass window into a bingo hall with the greatest dummy that was glued to a wheelchair ever. Like, this dummy is just rocking back and forth with a wig that damn near falls off. And I stood up and cheered as I have never cheered before. It was the best damn thing I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. It is not only on the Mount Rushmore of dummy pratfalls, but I think it is he who dummies behind the scenes or whatever. That didn't come out very well, but anyway, I don't care. It is. I challenge you, listeners, to find a better dummy fall. This was glorious. This is the best.
This is the type of kill that Kill of the Week was born for.
Oh my God. Yes, Nate. Fewer words you have spoke are more accurate. Yes. That is my kill of the week. I've said my piece.
Charlie. What's your kill of the week?
You
By
know,
chance?
yeah, I wonder which one it is.
I wonder.
There's a reason I went into so much description of the Combine kill early, because I wanted to get my jokes out. It's the wheelchair tag.
Yes, it totally is.
When that dummy comes through that window.
It's that wig on that dummy.
Oh my God. Pete, talk about, like, us in action movies are no stranger to dummy tosses. Nate and I still love to this day the above the
It's
law.
above the law
Fantastic
dummy kill.
Dummy toss that the guy's holding onto the back of the car in the parking garage. They run it through the wall, and all you see is this dummy that was loosely taped to the back of the car fly off the back. And instead of like the cool close-up thing of a thud, it lands on an electrified rail of the train cars. And all you see is this blue flash of light that comes up. And so Nate and I adore that kill, but this is probably top. This is God tier.
This is God level, right? Yep.
Yes.
This is
all right, Nate. Go ahead and tell us why this one's your favorite too.
It can't not be your favorite.
I wanted to let it be known that I wanted to pick every kill in the movie.
You're not wrong.
Every single kill in this movie is fantastic. But the wheelchair one's so special because, as everything that Pete has said, as everything that Charlie has said, the bingo hall, there's one thing we left out, though, because they are currently in the middle of playing bingo.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yes.
This woman
I forgot.
crashes through the window, and everyone's thrown to the ground and stuff. A guy arises above the occasion, lifts his bingo card up, and goes, I had A6, or whatever it was.
That's bingo, right?
That's bingo, right?
Because damn it, in bingo, that
Bingo's
shit is
cutthroat,
taken
man.
seriously.
That shit is serious.
You don't even think about calling a fake bingo. Those old ladies will murder you.
Yeah,
they will. They will cut you. Ooh.
They'll cut a bitch.
That's a better word than I almost used.
I will upload the clip to the Instagram of the wheelchair.
Totally.
Glory
We need
Nate,
that one.
please. and
Oh
share
my
it.
god.
Oh my god!
Like,
You
my
got to
face
do the
hurts.
whole thing though, like from the start.
Yeah, especially like trying not to laugh the whole
That
time. as
whole
Pete's
5 minutes.
describing
Oh
it.
my god!
It's so good.
It
All
doesn't
right,
happen
guys.
very often, but we have a unanimous kill of the week.
Another unanimous
Doesn't
kill.
happen often, but
Not really.
God, that might be kill of the year. It's only March.
In a lesser film, the nosebleed scene would have been best.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
lesser film, the house
Yeah.
would have been the best. The combine. But no,
The doctor getting stabbed by syringes.
by syringes. Yeah, who leaves
Yeah.
syringes out on anyway, there's so many
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
dumb things in this
I
movie
like that idea, though. I think maybe at the end of the year we should do kill of the year and see how
Yeah.
well these
Oh,
kills hold
man.
up against each other.
It's going to be hard to top
It
that
will.
one, guys.
Well,
It
you
will.
do we'll need to start a list of
Yeah.
what they were because we
Yep.
don't want to go back and listen to all this shit.
Maybe
No.
you don't. Maybe one of our kind listeners would want to come back and listen to everything.
Aw.
Hey.
All right, boys, let's rate this bad boy.
Yes, do it.
Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back.
All right, Pete.
Oh,
You're
me?
up first.
All right.
How many machetes are you giving this bad boy?
This movie is not good. As a movie, it's a 5. It's barely a movie. For entertainment purposes, it's an 8. So I'd like to see people succeed over failure. So this movie gets an 8.
Yes.
This movie, I have not been blindsided by a movie like this in a very long time. Like I was expecting this to be garbage, much like Velocipaster or I don't know, any number of garbage films I've seen here lately. And this thing surprised the hell out of me by how much I totally enjoyed it. It was, thank you, Spoils of Horror, for putting this out to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This
Absolutely.
is going. I do. Nate, did you say this was an Arrow, or Charlie? You said this was an Arrow release.
This is there's an Arrow release of Children.
I'm buying the hell out of this. I have to go get it right now.
find it.
Yep. If Arrow did it, yes, I need to own it.
I'm also curious if they do have some good behind the scenes stuff that maybe some light will be shed on our.
I don't think Arrow puts anything out without putting everything out, if you know what I mean.
It's Charlie's turn next.
So it's my turn. So
Yep.
I'm a little torn here. I agree with everything Pete just said. This movie has no right to be as good as it is, just strictly on enjoyment. And I know I've teased a bit here, and I don't want to steal any thunder from Spoils of Horror because they come out tomorrow with theirs, so I don't want to do anything like that. Let me just say I didn't get to watch the movie, but I did look up some things on YouTube about the movie. They have quite possibly what would have been my kill of the week in that movie.
In 3.
In 3.
Okay.
There's literally someone that turns into a corn stalk.
Oh my God.
In the most grotesque way. And all I'm going to say is, I'm not going to describe it. Either wait for Spoils of Horror to talk to you about it if you haven't seen the movie, or watch the movie before you listen to them talk about it.
Oh, I'll watch it before I listen to them.
And also, in 3, we get to see he who walks behind the corn.
Ooh.
And it is glorious from what I have saw.
Okay.
So, saying that, it's one of the reasons I feel like maybe they won in this little tiny competition.
Oh man, I don't know.
But this
So
we're
what you're saying is
strong.
those suckers in a cut above got the serious one, and we got the fun ones.
Oh, for sure. Watching the first one, there is not a lick of comedy in that movie whatsoever.
No,
it is one of the most serious, dread-inspiring movies I've actually watched in a while. Like and I've seen the movie before, but I don't think I've ever actually like sat down start to finish with the intent of just really taking it in because I wanted to be prepared for their episode. And I even messaged you guys going, this movie has no right to go this hard, or it goes a lot harder than I ever remember. And it takes itself as a very serious, it's a Stephen King, so it's there.
It's legit Stephen. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a classic.
Right. Number 2, I'll get back to that. Has no right to be this good. I am going to go with a 7, though, that I thoroughly enjoyed it. I will recommend this to anyone that enjoys just crazy sequels. It would have been an 8 or higher had it been mold from the corn, and
Okay.
they actually did it correctly and not felt like they shoehorned a demon into this, which I do still ding it for that. I feel like the demon was shoehorned. They totally would have been an even better take on a Stephen King story to add something else into it, be it demon or alien. Yeah, I mean, we all read and watch Stephen King movies. It ends up being an alien. It's not a demon at all. It's just this otherworldly creature from another planet that's terrorizing everyone. So no one would have been mad if at the end of Children of the Corn 2 it was mold. It would have been like very Stephen King-ish. It definitely holds up to the first one. So I'm gonna stick with 7. So Nate, what about you, Bubba?
Just like you guys, I was blown away by how much I enjoyed this. I when the idea was originally pitched, I was like, "Oh boy, this is gonna be terrible."
Oh boy,
because I don't like to rag on movies. I'm not Mystery Science Theater. I so there are good bad movies and there are bad movies.
Yeah.
I think this is a perfect example of a group of people attempting to make the best movie of their capabilities.
Okay.
It is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but that dedication is what makes this work and is so much fun. This is definitely a prime example of when I complain about people attempting to make a cult classic on purpose, because it always has to be a natural phenomenon. You don't make a cult movie on purpose. It happens. It's just something that occurs. And I had a blast with this by myself. Pete and I should have gotten together for this.
I was just thinking about holy shit, how much fun would this have been?
We would have had to rewatch
together.
it, I guarantee it, because of how much
We would have
laughing.
immediately rewound it or whatever, going back to the beginning and watched it again. We would have gotten another pizza and just let's we have to do this again.
Like, this is a very rare occurrence that it doesn't happen often. There are a lot of just bad movies that are just bad. Like, they're not fun. They're boring. That's the number one thing that you can be
boring.
A victim thing is just like being boring. Like, you may have a great idea there. Like, there was one I watched on Tubi the other day where it was like a Mad Max meets the Warriors, and it sounded fantastic. Great cover art, and it was just boring. Like, I think I napped at one point,
Oh no.
Yep. This movie, I was just laughing so much, and literally every kill could have been a kill of the week. It's just that wheelchair thing was
so
beyond
good.
amazing.
They put a lot more effort into that. They put more effort into that than the final kill, which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I harp on this because of how much I enjoy like a good bad movie, like Miami Connection, for example, or like Samurai Cop. They're so much fun. Recently, we had that damn Winnie the Pooh movie come out where it was just a person that jumped on the rights. I give them kudos to that. You know what? They knew that copyright was coming up. They jumped on it.
They were ready.
They were the first ones to make it happen. They've made $4 million on like a budget of like 100,000 or something like that.
Nice.
Kudos to you. You're doing great. You're making a bad cult movie on purpose though, and I don't enjoy those movies. Children of the Corn 2 is a perfect example of this wasn't trying to be a bad movie. This was trying to be a good movie. It truly was.
It had a theatrical release,
Yeah. It's just so batshit insane and crazy that it works.
Accidentally works.
It accidentally works. And that's the big thing. Like, you need to have, this is lightning in a bottle. Like, the guy that directed this, he has not made anything else that appeals to me in any chance. But you know what? In the horror world, I think he has definitely made his mark with Children of the Corn 2. And for that, it's just pure kudos. For me, I'm 8 out of 10.
Yes!
Straight up. Like,
there you go.
I really thought going in that this is going to be a giant waste of time.
You and me both, brother. Yeah.
I did. Like, well, the phone's fully charged. We'll see how much I pay attention to. I think I wrote more notes for this movie than I have any other movie. Just because I was just like blown away.
Let me just say, I only fell asleep because I was extremely tired.
Right.
I had to watch it
this
this morning
movie. Yeah.
Because after partying in Vegas all week, I had no mental capacity to watch it.
Oh,
you didn't need mental capacity to watch this one.
Pete and I feel so bad for you, Mister. I'm running
Oh,
off to Vegas.
Vegas. Leaving
You
us all
should.
alone.
You didn't have to spend 2.5 hours at Zach Baggins' bullshit museum. He owes me $50.
It was only 30 to get in. Nate's charging interest. He owes me 50 because
Now, if I'm charging interest, then he owes me 75.
All right.
Well, now I'm gonna charge by the hour, and I'm expensive, so now he owes me an additional 125 on top of the 50.
Yeah, eventually you'll get your winnings back from Vegas. So we'll just keep
that's how I
tacking
get
on
it.
that interest. Yeah, that's it, man. All right, man. Well, we've all spoke highly of this, so I guess that means Nate actually had to find a bad review for this movie. So here we go.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage. And then I pick up the trash can and I bash the guy on the head.
Oh, that's going to be a disaster.
All right. This one comes from 2005. Stewie Fan 201. Horrible, terrible, stupid, crappy movie. 0 out of 10.
Okay.
Wow.
This has to be one of the worst movies I have ever seen. Bad script, bad acting.
Yep.
Everything in this movie is bad. In
Nope.
this sequel to 1984's Children of the Corn, the authorities find the bodies in Gatlin and the murderous kids responsible. The kids are all adopted by foster parents in the neighborhood town next to Gatlin. But soon, a boy named Mika is taken over by the evil corn deity named He Who Walks Behind the Rows. Mika gets the kids to go back to their murderous habits, and soon the adults begin to die again. I don't understand why the 1984 movie needed a sequel or sequels. I should say, since there are 7 of these movies, you know the original movie made $14 million at the box office, so it didn't do good. Why make a sequel? Well, it did do good because it was on 900,000. Anyway,
Right.
this movie made $6 million, a box office disaster. Back in the day, yes, I would say, but I mean, on a $900,000 budget, $6 million is pretty good profit.
It's pretty good.
The only 2 good scenes where when the character Mika is possessed, he gets zapped and then he's falling through a strange shaft, gets his body dismantled. He Who Walks Behind the Row enters his blood and he gets pieced together and falls out into the cornfield. And second is the nosebleed scene. Take my word for it. Don't see this movie. They're wrong. See this movie.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah. No. I mean, he's right on some accounts, but
He's right on a lot of accounts.
He's right.
But,
yeah.
but
he's
he's not
wrong.
taking the entertainment value.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of these people is
Subjective.
they totally miss the entertainment end of it. They don't allow themselves to be entertained. That's a lot of it. It's like you kind of have to let yourself be. I could have easily been in a pissed off mood, tried to watch this movie, and probably hated it, but
Slugs. That's what happened with me.
yeah,
Right.
like
Had a
still
bad
had
month,
no idea
watched
how
Slugs.
Nate didn't
It
like that
affected
movie.
my entire experience with the movie. And it was
So
unfair.
sorry.
And also had probably an equal kill to the blood spatter kill
Oh,
in this
boy.
movie with the bugs exploding out of the dude's face. I mean, it's
Mhm.
literally, it's a mindset. But I really think some of these people that do the so-called reviews never go into these things expecting to be entertained.
They're expecting everything to be Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, they take out their little
Scorsese.
notebook from film school and they check all the little boxes to see if it did it, and if it doesn't, then they act like they're Roger Ebert or whoever it was and just shit on a movie.
And even if they're not, a film school person, Charlie's a smart guy. If Charlie would review a musical, it would get a low rating because Charlie doesn't like musicals.
I don't like musicals.
Nate doesn't like anime. Anything from anime would be a terrible movie for Nate to review. So maybe this cat doesn't like horror movies. Or maybe he doesn't like bad movies. I like bad movies. So this was right up my alley. So there's sometimes I think maybe whomever is reviewing that might not be their bag. Maybe they're a big epic person or a comedy folk. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if it's not your bag, I don't review it if you don't like this genre of film.
Right. No, I agree.
It's not fair to the film, and it's not fair to your credit, your credibility if
Right.
you shit on a movie that others go, this was great, you're dumb.
Exactly.
No, fair.
Yep.
Well, that's it. We did it.
We did it.
Well, hopefully you went and checked out A Cut Above doing part 1. I'm
Yeah.
excited to check that one out.
Uh-huh.
And then Spoilers of Horror doing part 3. Once again, also excited to check that one out.
Yep.
2 fantastic podcasts that have shown nothing but love and support from a very early on. It has been amazing friendships to have. Anytime I see my phone light up that the group chat with those guys is lighting up, I'm like, oh, what's going on? Usually it's
Right.
happening when I'm driving. I'm like, no, I want to be a part of this. But God, like, this is a great idea. I really do want to do 4, 5, and 6 next.
I'm in.
Later in the year. Like, I'm totally down for that. And for somehow all of us to do at least this recent reboot. But that's all stuff that we'll talk about off air.
Yeah, we'll figure
You know,
figure that out.
we'll figure
see
it
if
out.
everyone else enjoyed this as much as we did.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Oh,
What's gonna
if-
be weird is on Apple charts or whatever the hell they're called. It's gonna be like Children of the Corn 1, 2, and 3 magically take a rise in digital sales. I'm like, wow, how did that happen? Maybe the
Yep.
studio executives should get in front of us.
Yep. I'm telling you guys,
Hmm.
we got an outline.
We
We're
got
ready.
ideas. We got outlines.
All right.
Yep.
We'll do this.
Well,
All
Charlie,
right.
you do the things.
Let me do the things, man. So yeah, if you want to continue on and also, find all the other 2 shows that are with us with the Cut Above Horror Review and Spoils of Horror, please follow us over on Instagram, which is where all 3 shows are the most active. So please go check out Give Me Back My Action Movies and Give Me Back My Horror Movies on Instagram. But if you're more into Facebook, we also have our groups there, Give Me Back My Horror Movies and Give Me Back My Action. Both of us are also on Twitter. We are on YouTube. We'll see what the future for TikTok holds lately. It's a little
Mhm.
unsure. We'll ride that wave. We really only post
Something
like
going on with TikTok.
you've literally been in Vegas, but this was happening beforehand. They're talking about banning it. So
Oh, are they talking about banning it again?
yeah, only this one's got more steam.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, a lot more steam. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not
We're
against
still on
TikTok
there.
going away.
It's a time killer.
Something
It's a
I don't know
good
if I should
time
say
killer.
good, yeah.
It's also super toxic with people. But that's
It is.
anything with online. But man, that's something
Yeah.
about TikTok. Like,
I'm too old for TikTok.
Oh, you'd enjoy it,
you're,
Pete.
you're too old for Instagram too, apparently.
Yeah.
so
This is
it's
true,
fine,
yeah.
what's the
Can't figure that
4
shit
by
out.
6 ratio?
Shut up, you!
And also, if you want to check out all the other awesome shows on the Give Me Back My Podcast Network, we have Pete's very own Good Beer Bad Movie Night. Once a month, they regale us with some fantastical movie that maybe
Oh, boy.
isn't so fantastical. Although this one better not be a bad review that you're.
I don't know what you're talking about. What?
Better not.
What's happening?
Mess
I don't even
with
know what's
my Beastmaster.
Oh, Beastmaster.
Don't
I
mess
don't even
with my
know.
Beast. Although that should be out
It should be
by the
out
time
now.
this comes out.
Yeah.
It should be yeah. By the time
Yeah.
this lands, it should be out. Yeah.
Yeah, so you better not have messed it up. You already messed up Spawn. Also, please go check out the monster movie Stomp Down and Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. So both fantastic shows to get your kaiju fix, to get some throwbacks to some amazing wrestling times, and kind of comparing it a little bit to some of the more modern era, like a ton of drama, I guess, going on with a lot of more recent wrestling too. So it's kind of hard waters to navigate.
Yep.
All right. I think that does it for us. Again, please go check out A Cut Above Horror Review and Spoils of Horror. Follow their
Yes.
Children of the Corn episodes. This is all just one big collaboration. So the whole point is so you guys go check those guys out and let's just share the love and have fun in the corn. So, Nate, I think you need to get us out of here, Bubba. What's the good word?
Oh, what a world! No, what a world!
That's it.
Now, let's talk about how I get back home.
So in my hometown, every year in September, they do a corn festival.
Oh, sure.
Where you can get like, the world's greatest pork chop and stuff like
Yep.
that,
Yep.
iced tea, and You know, pop the balloons and win the
Yep.
posters with the white frame. I feel like they should do a Children of the Corn festival.
Yeah.
I have cousins that own a large produce farm, and they have a corn maze every year.
Oh, I don't want to be a part of a corn maze.
Yeah, it's like at the beginning of the planting season, they have a grid and they pick a pattern and they plant it, and it's really cool.
That's cool though. I've never
Yeah,
known
it's
about
really
something
cool.
like that.
It's really they've done it for like the last 15 years or something like that. It's really cool. Sometimes it's dinosaurs, sometimes it's Buckeyes, sometimes it's castles or princesses or something like that. It's from above, it looks awesome, but you can wander through it. It's pretty sweet.
Nice. Yeah, that's my pitch.